In this lesson, we're going to start working on the hips of the character. Alright, so the hips of the character are going to be pivotal in your character's design and deformation. We need to make sure that we have the proper loops in the hip for the leg to move in multiple directions. Now, whenever modeling the hips, it's easiest to identify the deforming loops that are needed first and then build around that. So the way I like to kind of think about building the character's hips is kind of thinking about the seams of a pair of shorts. So let's go ahead and get started with this by selecting Editable Poly, and we're going to go to Polygon mode, or I'm sorry, Edge mode, and let's select this edge here. And let me actually turn off soft selection. There we go. And with this, we're going to hit W to go to our move tool, and we're going to hold down shift and drag this straight down. I'm going to do this 3 times, right down to the bottom of my reference image, and then I'm going to go to my left view hitting L on the keyboard. Let's pull this back to about the middle, and then I'm going to hit 1 to go to vertex mode and take these vertices and pull those back into where it matches pretty close to the front of our reference image. Now you'll notice that the hand is kind of in the way, so I want to get rid of that. Now I don't want to delete it, I want to just hide the polygons. So let's select all the polygons in the hand, something like this, and I'm actually going to hit grow until it comes all the way up to that shoulder point. Now with these polygons selected, let's scroll down under our Edit Geometry rollout, and you'll notice that I've switched this from the single command panel to double command panel. To do this, just simply left click and drag the edge there. And we'll drag that over, and you'll see that that changes the view. So I'm going to pull that back out just to make this a little bit easier on me. And then right here under Edit Polygons, or I'm sorry, Edit Geometry, if you scroll down, you'll see 3 buttons here. We have Hide Selected, Unhide All, and Hide Unselected. Let's hide the selected polygons. Now that's not removing them, it's just hiding them. So you don't have to worry about that being gone. Now if you want to bring those back, all you have to do is hit Unhide All, and it'll bring those polygons back. So I'm going to hit Control Z 1 time to undo that unhide. Now let's go back to our left view, and let's go to vertex mode, and let me take this and pull that up a little bit. Now we're going to go to edge mode, and you should still have that edge selected right here. If not, go to your perspective view and select that. And under your left view, let's hold down shift, and we're going to drag this back, and then we're just going to follow the contour of our character here. And then we'll take these 2 edges here, and we'll simply hit bridge. Let's go to our left view again. Let's go to vertex mode, hitting 1. Let's kind of space these out a little bit better, as I want to make these polygons a little more even, and that just makes things easier to kind of snap into. So now that we have all of these edges set, I want to separate these from the rest of the body. I don't want to build the lower body connected to the upper body. It's just going to make things a little bit easier when it comes to modeling. Remember, you don't have to model everything in one solid piece. If you want to separate out polygons for the t-shirt, which is what we're going to do later on, you can do that. And then if you want to have the pants as a separate object, you can totally do that as well. So no need to keep going on the same model. So I'm going to select those polygons of the hip there that we started out with, and I'm going to come down into my tools, and here under Edit Geometry you'll see Detach. Click on that and let's give it a name. So we're going to call it lower body, and let's turn off polygon mode and go back to our object here, and now we're ready to go. So to get started with this, what I like to do is I like to create the loops that I need. So it's a lot easier to get the loops that you need to kind of see where you're going and then fill in the gaps. And again, this is the polygon modeling technique, or the edge modeling technique that we learned about. So I'm going to create a set of polygons right here along the thigh, and I'm going to do this using a cylinder. So let's left click and drag out a cylinder. It's going to be about the same width as the leg there, and let's make sure that we get our height. As you can see, that's fluctuating if I move my mouse up and down. So I need to left click 1 more time for that to be finalized. Now let's grab a rotation tool and rotate that 90 degrees. Now I'm also going to rotate this about 15 degrees and then put that into position right on my leg. So it's okay if it's a little bit bigger. You might scale it down. We definitely want to check our left view though. Let's move it over into position of our reference image, and you can see that that's a little small, but in our front reference image it's a little large. So kind of a nice happy medium there. So now with these polygons set, let's right click on our cylinder and convert that to editable poly, and then I'm going to go to polygon mode. Let's select these polygons right here on top and bottom and delete. And then I'm going to take the strip that we created first and I'm going to attach these new polygons. Now what we want to do is we want to create some polygons that are going to go around the waist. So I'm going to take this edge right here and this edge, and we're going to bridge those. Now before I start bridging that, let me make one more segment right in here. Let me actually pull this down to right about here, and let's hit Control-Shift-S to grab our Swift Loop tool. And again, you can go up to Modeling, Edit, and there it is right there. With it active, let's hold down Shift on that polygon and left click, and that'll create that new segment. Now let's go to Edge mode. Let's select these two edges, and we're going to use Bridge, and we're going to use the settings. Now I just want to create one segment for right now, and then I'm going to take that segment and pull it all the way out to the edge of my body here. Now let's use the Swift Loop tool again, and let's hold down Shift, drag that out, and then I'm going to create multiple segments here. So it should have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 segments here. And let me take those segments and let's make sure that our edge constraint is turned on. And I'm going to move these around a little bit. So just kind of space those out some. Actually, you know what? Let me hit Control-Z a couple of times. I think I may have added just a few too many. Let's take that one. Let's pull it out. Edge constraint. Push that over in the Y. Let's take this one. Pull that one out too. And I'll pull that one out a bit, as well as this one. So just making those a little bit larger, a little more even. I will go ahead and create one more segment here in the middle. So hit Control-Shift-S, hold down Shift, and then select that. And again, that's that Swift Loop tool. So remember, you need to have the custom keyboard shortcuts loaded if you want to use that Control-Shift-S. And if you're unsure where to find those, they're under the referenced file folder in your project files. Okay. If you're unsure how to load those, you can take a look at level 3. And I believe I may have even showed you how to load those in this course. I don't think I did, but if you want to learn level 3, you can do that. Let's turn on an edge extrusion and let's even these polygons out just a little bit more. Some of them are getting a little too large, making some other ones look a little too small. Alright, so that should be good. So now we have these polygons set. Now what we want to do is start bridging in between those. So let's select this edge and these two edges. And actually, let me make sure that this is lined up. That is pretty good there. Now we're going to hit Bridge. And I'm going to do, let's do 4 segments in that one. And then under here, we're going to go from this edge to this one, and then from here to there. Let's bridge that, but let's do one segment for right now. That should give us plenty, and then we'll hit OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and take these polygons, or these vertices right here, and I'm going to push those in a little bit without that constraint turned on. Sorry about that. Pull that back. That should start to round that leg out. Now let's take a look at the rest of this really quickly. Let's take this vertex right here. Let me pull that down. Let's make that a little straighter down that leg. Let's do the same thing on this side. So just kind of tweak that shape a little bit. There we go. That should be good. All right, great. So now, let's come in and let's start to bridge these gaps. Now, with this is going to take just a little bit of work. We have two large gaps. We need to kind of figure out exactly how we want this to go, and then we also need to make sure that we have all the loops that are going to allow the deformation to happen in the areas of the hip. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at how to do that next.